Okay, so we should be streaming. Hey, folks, coming up in about 3-4 minutes today. Alrighty, okay, yeah. on Discord or what? Gov.ly/Grant, folks. Just give me a minute. Sorry, running a bit late. Haha. Oh, excuse me. Blimey. Oh, I need some coffee. Oh. Right. Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, no. There you go. Oh, blimey. Here we go. Oh. Is that it? Oh, no. All right. Okay. Here we go. Oh, dear. Evening all. This is the Daily Chaos. Auto ab ruddy KO. The show ain't daily, but the chaos is. I'm Olly Connelly. Thanks for turning up. And now, you tell me, again, yeah, you tell me. Yeah, call in on Discord, gov.ly/rant. You know, if you want to, you can call in on Skype too. I'll tell you what, we'll do a test tonight. So, look, if you want to call in on Skype, I'll put the number on here, but it's a direct line, a UK number. 033 000 11264. I'll put the number up. And we'll see you in the comments. And if you want to bung us a beer, big cheers. That's using paypal.me/Brexit. You can share the show, like the post, like the page, whatever. Facebook didn't unpublish the page today. Amazing. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, I think that's my cue. Okay, so we've got David Wolf popped into the green room. Hey, David. Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Myself.
Good. Excellent. Right. You didn't have anything better to do then?
I've been out and voted today. In the local election.
Right. Yes. What's going to happen in your neck of the woods?
Labour's going to win. Oh,
what?
It's
Rosette donkey thing?
Well, no, it's a bit of a weird one because all the Conservative candidates are Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a very highly Muslim area.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Labour candidates are native Blackburners. So it's a bit of a weird one.
And what about UKIP and the DVP? Any idea?
No option.
No option for either?
No, neither.
What's your constituency?
It's the Blackburn with Darwen Council.
Blackburn with Darwen. Well, you know, if anybody from DVP or anyone, you know, from any of the parties wants to pop in and have a chat with us about the local elections, then they'd be very welcome. I did say I'd get JRE on, actually, around the time of these locals. But to be honest with you, I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I would vote for those guys or UKIP over LibLabCon, obviously. But the bottom line is they're not getting any media attention at all. And it's just, it's just very frustrating to behold, is it not?
Well, it's the local council elections. It's the bureaucracy elections. So, it's not really going to change anything much.
Well, there's that too. But I mean, even in terms of the protest vote, I mean, Struth, people are mad if they're going to vote Lib Lab Con anymore. I mean, they can see the con all over Westminster in so many different ways. It's incredible, unbelievable. Okay, we've got some folks on chat, both on Facebook and on YouTube. So good evening, Stav, Paul, Chris, Stav, Lauren, Chris, William, Michelle, Carl, Linda. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Very good. Thank you very much indeed for popping in. Okay, let's see what the papers are talking about this morning. Metro condemned to death by an NHS computer. I heard one thing about that, Dave. I heard something earlier. They were just threw in a little line while they were covering this on the 6 o'clock news this evening that they might just have to privatize, or rather they might have to add some private funding to help this situation with breast screening. And it just seems to me that, it's like, it isn't it? It's auto ab KO. It's create the problem and offer the solution. More privatization. It just makes you wonder, I don't know. Same as Windrush, So the solution is that actually we're going to have to, not be so xenophobic as a country and embrace the EU clearly. Yeah. Anyway.
Isn't that a made-up term, xenophobic?
That's James Gore there. James, xenophobic, is it? No, I don't know. No idea.
Probably is.
No,
just like the word racist is just made up.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but they're used incorrectly very often. We've got Carl Stephen here too. Carl Stephen, good evening.
Natural parts of the human psyche is racism and xenophobia. It's natural parts of the human psyche.
That's right. It's protection. It's a self-defense mechanism. Actually, it's just a question of how, I don't know, how much you've got out.
Take it back to caveman. Where we get most of our basic instincts and our basic humanity from.
Yeah, that's right.
Your caveman family sat around in your cave. Guess what? The people from the cave across the street, you're not particularly happy about them being in the cave across the street because they're taking away your food and stuff, and your resources.
So this NHS story also overshadows the real story yesterday, which is covered in the Builder Graph this morning on their front page at the bottom in the smaller font. May outnumbered on Brexit customs deal by 5-4, wasn't it? And it was actually Sajid Javid, or whatever, I'm blaming, who swung that. So had Amber Rudd not been, basically gone, then we would now be looking at a customs union, absolutely, had she not gone. So good riddance indeed. That headline from Daily Mirror, a couple of days ago. I am bloody right, no, guys? Sajid whatnot, who voted Remain in the referendum, the new Home Secretary, and the acceptable face, if you like, in terms of Windrush or whatever else as well. So quite convenient for the government in a way, you could say too. He swung the vote for that. I mean, should there have been any question about it at all? Yeah. No, there shouldn't. But there was in cabinet, and it went 6-5. I'll find some more news on that. I'm sure most folks know about it anyway, but I will look at that story a bit more closely. Javid joins Brexiters to derail May on customs, according to Groniad. Daily Gonad. Hundreds died after breast cancer screening failure, Independent, and scandal, The Sun. And betrayal of 450,000 women who weren't screened. Scored joke. So there you go. All right. Oh, yeah. Cambridge Analytica shut down. So some interesting stuff going on stateside. Rudy Giuliani, the New York mayor at 9/11. Yeah, I always thought the guy was very dodgy off the back of that. But he came out. He's now on the Trump lawyering up team, and he came out and he said that the president reimbursed his lawyer Michael Cohen for a hush money payment to the porn star Stormy Daniels. Is wonderful bit of gossip, isn't it? But you know what? Does anybody actually give a staff? I mean, actually, according to this, he basically said that the main thing that he said was no campaign funds were used, folks. So actually, do the American people, are they going to be bothered? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Not looking entirely rosy for the midterms. Anybody got a comment on that? Go on, David Wolf.
Glenn hit the nail on the head when he said that it was Comey that had done the dirty with Stormy Daniels, and it was Trump using his own personal funds to help bail his friend out of a bit of a sticky situation there.
Who did it? Who did Glenn reckon was the guy that had it away with Stormy?
The solicitor, the lawyer.
Oh, really?
Trump's lawyer.
That's his theory,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come out to light
Okay.
in that article.
I don't. Does
Who
anybody really
happens
care?
when you get
It's the top. It's the top story on Drudge. I mean, they think it's important, and it is. It is a big gossip story. But is it actually going to make any difference at the polls? I mean, people either want the kind of reforms that Trump seems to be working on, or they don't. Plus, it looks as though he might have a big trump card, so to speak, with North Korea.
Do you know what was driving past my house today? A big Labour van. I just wanted to go out.
James, are you going to keep this? Are you going to answer my question? Oh, no. Always goes off on a tangent, James Gore. Bless him.
Yeah, that's me for you. I was just saying, like,
go on, James.
there was a big Labour van stood outside, shouting stuff. I just wanted to go out and throw eggs at it because they're a bunch of child touching. I don't even want. There's a bunch of child touching misogynist. Oh God.
I'll tell you the latest, yeah. The latest is that Keith Vaz is back in the headlines. Let's see if I can find a bit of...
They're a bunch of socialists.
The latest on
parasites. Don't get me started on that Corby.
Adonis swings both ways today. At 11:25 this morning, Lord Adonis, that bloody Labour Blairite peer bloke, expressed opposition to disgraceful ID cards. Oh, that's... I thought I was going to be having a bit of Ramon. Labour MP deletes vote early, vote often tweet. Yeah, there must be some stuff on Vaz here. He's in here most days. Burko is being done for being a bully. I noticed that Newsnight have run that story as their top story the last 2 nights running, as though the cabinet decision yesterday, 5-4, in favour of not doing what Prime Minister May wants, which is this customs union thing. Despite that, Newsnight ran a story about Burko, for God's sake. It affects basically him. Well, okay, yeah, no, he's the Speaker of the House. It's important. It's a second story, yeah. It's not the top story. Jesus, distraction. Sorry, James, go on. Hey?
What were all these local elections about in England and that today?
Yeah.
What were all they about, like? 'Cause...
It's the local council.
Right.
So people in the local area supposed to be representing the local community that are putting, the very basics of civil government around.
So basically, just steal more tax money that doesn't exist. That's what you're voting for.
Okay, hold on a sec. Let me check this story out. Yeah, check this story out. A roll call of suspended candidates, from the elections. This is on Guido. Excuse me. Good morning, Election Day. Guido brings you the full roll call of candidates who have been suspended up and down the country over the last few weeks. And look at this list here. Yeah, let me enlarge this a bit. Let me see if I can enlarge that a bit. Just going to get a bit bigger. Oh, Jesus. Hang on. Anyway, look. Oh, very slow, isn't it? What's going on with that? Oh, dear. Can you see how long this list is? Look at the length of that list. That's Labour. Labour have not suspended a host of other candidates who clearly breached party rules. Okay, so the actual list runs that you can see there. So there's about a couple of dozen or something, and then there's another. I don't know. Anyway, it just goes to show, doesn't it? And then there's like that what's his name, Keith Vaseline or whatever. After 17 months ago, he was caught doing Charlie with a bunch of rent boys or something. And he still hasn't been... They're only now beginning to investigate, apparently, after 17 months. Apparently he had sick leave and stuff like that. He's been taking jollies to, I don't know, going off around the world and stuff like that on jollies. He's been healthy enough for that. To be, heading up parliamentary committees, but not to be investigated over being just, basically... Oh, yeah, he's heading up some inquiry into prostitution. And he's got a conflict of interest. 17 months ago, he was caught with prostitutes. I tell you, the guy is just, it's a joke. Anyway, they're filth, basically, aren't they? Lib Lab, filth. Sorry, go on.
The Labour constituency are just full of nonsense. That's all they are. They're like a walking BBC. That's all they are in the political realm of things. That's what just Labour are. They're just purebred communists.
Well, it's a whole lot of them, though, isn't it? It's a whole lot of them. It's not, all of them. I mean, they Lib Lab Com. They're all proven. Check out that.
Vote for Labour. You're a paedophile. Just saying. That's it. You put that Xbox on that Labour.
You think the Tories are any better?
No,
James.
Don't think they are. No, absolutely not.
Or the Liberals, for that.
No, they're just a spin-off, aren't they, really, the Lib Dems from the...
Yeah, chip off the old block. Pull Hart, the monarch is slaved. Scotland using tax. We can pay for services without tax. Tax is slavery. Stab Woodcutter, local council gravy train representatives.
Someone who's got the monkey clapping in that brain. Well done, sir. Do you know what, though? When they pay for it... When they send you a tax bill, they're triple dipping.
They're triple dipping.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. There's an interesting story about tax today.
They get money from the cartel. Mm. They own it from them. They claim money on your bond from your birth certificate, and then if you consent to it, if you're that much of a divvy, you pay it. They're getting 3 times the amount of credit. And, I was like, you owe this, or we'll send you this. You don't have to, just don't consent. Just don't. If you get a fake liability order anyway.
Yes, James, thank you. Thank you for going off topic again. But, no, I can actually segue even that with a story that I popped on Facebook earlier, which is relevant to that. Something else that wasn't discussed in the referendum campaign, extortionate tax rates in leading EU countries such as Germany and France, another trend sure to permeate the tax-seeking EU. And there's a piece on this in Statista.com where workers pay the highest income tax. And look at this here, in Germany, they're nearly at 40%. Combining their income tax and social security contributions. Italy 31.2, France at 29, Turkey at 27, 28. And it's interesting that they slipped Turkey in there, isn't it? Hold on a sec. Okay, so it is a global thing. And the UK is down here at 23 after Turkey, the United States, and Greece. So we're at 23. And Germany is at 39.9. Italy, 31.2. France, 29.2. Us, 23.4. 23.4. So there's a massive difference there. Now, you can just imagine them in the EU around their, technocratic committee tables with the wine in the middle of the table from the cellar. And they're rubbing their hands with glee, thinking how much they could, get into the EU tax raising scheme that they're dreaming up from these nations that are paying less than in Germany. so they can raise everybody up to that level, because then it's uniform, isn't it? And they'll be doing good, in the one-party state. No? Carl Stephen, and Sammy J. Sammy J, what would you like to say, Sammy? Sammy J, if you can hear us on Discord.
That's the forge, you see, Ollie.
Sorry, I was muted.
Hey, that's Sam. Sam Jane Pearson. God bless you, Sam. How are you?
Not too bad. I was just feeding my dog, so I thought I'd mute my mic.
Oh, no, that's cool. You finished feeding your dog. No worries.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, go on, James. You were saying.
That's the forge, you see. Talking about tax. The triple dipping, like, because there's a website where.
What do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean triple dipping? Like income tax, national insurance, and then VAT, or what?
No, what they do is...
There's more than that anyway, of course.
Probably more.
There's way more.
Go down into dipping into like credit or whatever you call money.
Right. Okay.
See, what they do is...
What do you mean by triple dipping?
Basically, they're claiming off your birth certificate, which is a bond.
Right.
And...
Look, hold on. What do you mean by triple dipping, mate? Please.
The dipping, they're getting paid 3 times.
Right. How?
How? Through your birth certificate, through...
That's not a payment. That's like basically a down payment, if you like, but it's not.
They claim it through your estate, your bond. There's a website. Steve explains it from Expert in Legal Matters. He clearly says it.
What's that got to do with the amount of income tax that you're paying, James? Just, come on, man. Let's try and keep it, on topic a bit, yeah? Mate, for crying out loud. I'll tell you, John Middleton, they're called...
They dip into your estate. That's how it works.
I know they do. And then you've got inheritance tax as well. Believe you me, mate, I know they do. I absolutely know they do. We all do. Ron Pritchard, where is the video? There should be video. Oh, yeah, Ron. There's no video on... I'll tell you what I can do for you. I can tell you what I can do. There you go. That's better. Now you got the comments.
Where's the video?
You can see he's talking on Discord as well. Where's
the video? If you type in export in all legal matters, the video's in top.
James, he's not talking about that, mate. He's not talking about that. The video is... Oh, bloody. There's a mosquito. Oh, I got him. Yeah, got him. The video is on YouTube, folks. gov.ly/YT. On Facebook, there's no video because when I'm simulcasting, I can't be chucking so much data up 2 pipes, so to speak, which sounds a bit rude, but there you go. Okay, Sam, what's going on? What's going on with you, darling? You got your cans, yeah? You've got your headset now.
I have my new headset, yes.
Thank goodness for that. Excellent. And you sound great. You sound good. And so does your dog. I can hear your dog barking in the background.
It's not my dog.
Is that not your dog? Oh,
no.
Okay. All right. But you were feeding your dog?
I was feeding my dogs. Yes.
Right.
I have multiple.
Yeah, that's right. How many dogs have you got?
4.
4. And what are they?
4. I have 2 Staffy Crossies and 2 Jack Russells. They're all rescues.
Right. Yeah. Good. Good on you. Thank you. Right. Okay.
Your show with my my personal life.
Yeah. No. Lovely. Excellent. That's what they want to know. That's what they want to know about. Okay. So we've got William Plonk, Savi Javid, mate of the Ponce London mayor, both together at the Bundesbank in EU, and fellow family friend back in Packy land. Lots of laughs. Yeah. Cheers, William. Charlotte Jameson. Hi, Anthony. I'm good, thanks. Yes, unfortunately, we're late evenings, so you can't listen. Hi, Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte. Anthony Partington. Okay. Breast screening doesn't prevent cancer. It's a bullshit screen, says Michelle Reed. When they've taken over lab candidacies, they will move to conservative-held areas and infiltrate. No options for my ward either. Only conservative Labour and Green, says Michelle Reed, which is very odd. Very odd. So UKIP's not doing a full field this time. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess they haven't been for I don't know, ever really, because there's some constituencies just not worth doing, I suppose. But Jesus, we're just not getting the message out, are we, Sam? I mean, this is another what we really see here today with this local election is another example of the sheep going to the polls.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And what people don't realise, like what people don't understand is, I've seen a lot of posts and they're like wasted votes and things like this. It's a local election. You vote for who is the best person for your area.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you vote for. The person that's you've emailed and helped you and someone that's actually cleaned up your area. If they haven't, then you look for the person that looks the best, like the most promising. Obviously, never Labour.
I don't think I could ever vote Lib, Lab or Con again after what I've seen.
Well, I mean, we have a few independents, mainly Labour and Conservative here. They've not done too bad, but you don't really see a lot of them. There's not enough reaching out to the local residents. The MP, see, he's really helped me a lot with my disabled children, getting help at school and getting to see mental health services. He's been like amazing. I can't fault him.
Really?
But he also
Good.
votes against disabled like he voted to cut the disabled money, you know, and things like that. So I'm conflicted because he has really helped me, but he's also not a great person. His voting record isn't great. So I mean,
what's his record so far as Brexit's concerned, and what was the outcome of the referendum in your constituency, Sam?
We was one of the highest in Kent to leave.
Right.
I think we were second or first. I can't remember. It's about 64%. I campaigned with the local MP then, but I don't know. He's all right, but I would much prefer to see Tina Brooker in as MP for the area because she's just amazing and she's UKIP and she is the person. Tina Brooker is the person who got the street lights turned back on in Kent because they was turning them off at night, and she campaigned on her own, started it all on her own, and got the street lights turned back on.
Huh.
And she does loads of stuff for the community, lots and lots. She's amazing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the blinkered Labour voters will still go out and vote for them, says Parsons Knows. A typical comment somewhere. Unbelievable.
Labour's been really active around here in South Manchester. They're coming out even this afternoon when it's obviously only 5 hours left of the voting time, and they were still walking around knocking on people's doors. It's normally a Conservative area. Lib, Lab and Con. I didn't vote for any. I went for an independent this time. There's one standing in Broadheath.
Yes. Well, this is the
UKIP was also standing in the area as well. I think that's probably the first time in Broadheath, but I've not lived around here for 2 years.
Well, I think that's the issue. I mean, the issue with my area is, although a lot of people know who she is, they won't vote for her because she's under the UKIP banner, which I think is stupid.
Like, I decided not to vote for UKIP in this area for that reason and went for the independent because it is a very strong Conservative turnout. For example, there was 48.4% turnout last year, 1,778. And if you look at UKIP last year, got 91. The independent got 36.
You can.
You can
vote. You can vote for.
Okay. Well, let's have a look, see what else is going on. One or two other stories to bring to you. And one is the Lords are planning to let Trump address Parliament in defiance of Bercow's ban. Has Bercow actually banned Trump from speaking? Unbelievable. What is that? That's tyrannical. The Speaker of the House banned. Unbelievable. Did he really do that? Has he actually banned Trump from speaking, or has he just said that he disagrees with it, which is bad enough? Anyway, Lords plan to let Trump address Parliament. Exclusive. Peers want President invited to historic Royal Gallery to follow in footsteps of Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton. British Lords have paved the way for Donald Trump to speak in Parliament when he makes an official visit to the UK, despite a ban from Commons Speaker John Bercow. The Independent understands that peers are pushing for the US President to be given the opportunity to make a speech in the Royal Gallery. I still want to get rid of the bloody Lords, though, don't you? Anyway, yeah, bit of PR for the Lords there. Go on, David.
Get rid of the Lords,
David Wolf,
but not the House of Lords. I want to get rid of the Lords that have been put in by Blair, Brown, and
all these are pair of cheeks. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
No way to run things.
You know, the sort of kickback Lords, the ones that have done the political game and have got on Lords.
They're just absolute plutocratic puppets.
Yeah,
life,
but not
bred. Life weaned in plutocracy. Absolutely disgusting. William Davis, absolutely. Trump has the bucco vote, not to come the Labour trout. Stav Woodcutter, idiots vote because they suffer from Stockholm syndrome. Oh, Stav, that's one of it, sure. Okay, so the other big story I wanted to bring, well, the last one wasn't such a big story. It was a bit of a gossipy story, really. Not so independent. Theresa May going back to drawing board to find customs compromise to unify her cabinet. Ms. May has asked for more work to be done on her existing 2 proposals for post-withdrawal customs arrangement. Let's have a listen to this report from this Joe Watts bloke, see what he's got to say, catch up on this story, make sure we're versed with it, because we need to be versed on this story.
Most trade deals are really, really difficult and complex things to agree. You have 2 different countries, 2 completely different regulatory legal systems, and you have to somehow find a way of bringing them together, intertwining them.
State the bleeding obvious, mate. Get on with it.
Of goods and money between the 2 countries. The difference with the EU-UK trade deal that's going to happen in the future is that the 2 systems are already completely aligned.
Exactly. So what's the bloody complication?
Instead of bringing 2 things together, you're breaking them apart.
Oh, for crying out loud, if we've still got the same regulations going on, then we can put together a trade deal, can't we? If they want to put together a bloody trade deal.
So the real question, the choice that we have about our future, can boil down to whether we want to stay aligned with the EU, its customs and tariffs and regulations, or whether we want to diverge.
Both! Well, basically diverge because they're a bunch of fascists.
Brexiteers want us to diverge. They want to have more control over the rules.
Oh, bloody hell. State that bleeding obvious. Right, Theresa May will go back to the drawing board to find a post-Brexit customs compromise to unify her cabinet after ministers could not agree what approach to take. 6-5 thing, yeah? The Prime Minister said to have asked for her 2 existing options to be revised in a bid to find a consensus following a meeting of her Brexit war cabinet. In other words, this is her Nexit strategy, isn't it? Nixit. Brino. It means that within 5 months to go until a Brexit deal is supposed to be set, the UK still has no clear position on exactly what kind of customs arrangements it wants with the EU after withdrawal. In a bid to preempt the deadlock, Downing Street had hinted ahead of Wednesday's meeting that the Prime Minister's thinking on customs options was evolving from the 2 options she had already set out. Was evolving. How many months ago was that referendum? Up to now, Ms. May has been absolutely crap and proposed 2 options. The customs partnership, which favours closer customs ties with the EU to avoid a hard border in Ireland, or a streamlined arrangement with looser customs ties but a harder border, where we would be collecting VAT for the EU, actually, in Northern Ireland as well. The Prime Minister is yet to name her preferred option, though she and Philip Hammond, the Chancellor, are thought to favour the partnership plan. Surprise, bloody surprise. This is what happens when you have Remainers in charge of a Brexiteering government, a government that was put there to sort out Brexit by a referendum where the Prime Minister had to quit off the back of the referendum, we get a bloody Remainer in power. Unbelievable treachery. I tell you, you can never forgive the Conservatives for voting in a bloody Remainer as their leader. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, these people. They make me sick. They make me absolutely want to puke all over them. Carl Stephen, what would you like to say about that?
Evening, Ollie. I think I've seen my dog after he's barking.
Hello, mate.
Election-wise, the minister, what everyone's voted for, our Prime Minister, I think she's an absolute shambles. It's a shame, isn't it? But then, who would you have? Let's say if she steps down or if is forcibly removed and who's going to run the country again? Who would you like to see there? Who's possible? David Davis?
Well, I guess all in all,
he seems to be he's squirming. He's squirming, isn't he, as well? So he's just
he did threaten to quit last week, didn't he? He said he might quit over this, and then somebody else did as well. I can't remember who that was. Somebody less high profile also threatened to quit this week, and of course Amber Rudd did.
Best thing that happened.
Thank God she quit, huh? Otherwise, actually, you know what? Had she not quit, we now would be in a constitutional crisis because it would be official that the government is not going to deliver Brexit. We would have had that decision had the vote swung the other way, 6-5 in the other way, in the other favour. That really is serious stuff, and that's what she wants. That is what she wants. She wants to water it down. It's actually exactly what they did with Lisbon. It was called something else, wasn't it? And then they had the referendum in Ireland or whatever, and they said no. And another one, wasn't it in France? And they said no. And so they just changed. They just changed the title. And it goes through. And that's basically the sort of thing that she's doing here. It seems to me. I might be wrong. It seems to me, though, that this is Brino. That is going on in, sort of sofa government, if you like. But, well, it is cabinet, but there's 11 of them voting on this. There's 11 of them that are responsible. 11 people. And the vast majority of those people voted Remain in that referendum. They do not represent the makeup of the British people. I think it's absolutely disgusting, I have to say. Okay, right. So we've got a few other things going on. Let's have a look at Brexit. Juncker asks Belgium to give citizenship to British EU officials living in Brussels. Hundreds of British officials face an uncertain future. So he's looking out for Brussels, for Belgium, whatever, people over there. British voters furious after being denied right to vote for first time in history over controversial ID scheme. I think this is basically a story that's come off the back of the corruption in Tower Hamlets, and places like that. Having the vote is a basic human right in a democracy, and this is supposed to be a democracy. Yeah, that's right. And we don't want people voting twice. Thank you. That's the bottom line too. People have been denied the right to vote in local elections for the first time due to a controversial new pilot of checks that force voters to prove their identities before casting their ballot. Is this a good or a bad thing, folks? Sam, what do you think about this?
Pardon?
What do you? Oh, never mind. Don't worry, Carl.
Sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry. You don't know. It's okay.
I zoned out.
You don't have to stand on zero.
I'm aware of what you're talking about there, Ollie, with the people having to take identification with them. But I didn't today, and there's no question when I walked in who I was. I just said my name and my postcode, where you live, and that was it. So I've not seen it come to when I was there today, being asked to show ID.
Okay, I'll tell you where they're doing this. It's a pilot, yeah. 76-year-old man who's lived in Bromley for 40 years told The Independent he was shocked to be turned away because he didn't have a bank card or passport. This is a nonsense scheme, he added. Gosport, Swindon, Watford and Woking are also running the pilot schemes. You see, that's the problem with a pilot, isn't it? Because people are not going to be organised for it. You either do it officially, you roll it out, you make sure everybody knows it's on the electoral roll. When you send out the voting thing, you say you have to have your ID, basically. That's the way you got to do it. You got to do it properly or not at all, haven't you, Carl?
I think it's a backdoor way of them trying to get everyone to have ID cards again. And
well, maybe.
It's for the fourth time they've been trying to push it through, isn't it?
I always was dead against any idea of ID cards until just a few years ago, really. And seeing, for example,
that's what they're trying to. They're trying to push that. So
do we have any choice though now, guys? Because I mean, for example, look, what was the vote in Canterbury in the general election, which always went Tory, and for the first time in about 95 years or something, it went Labour, off the back of second-time voting, by the sounds of it, from students who were also voting at home. Or so we were. I don't know. The Electoral Commission has been very quiet about that story since. But the bottom line is that if you want to defeat that risk, which could be a bigger risk with groups like Momentum, then you need ID cards, don't you?
True. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I would probably take it one step further. And
I don't like the idea, but
thumbprint scanners.
Thumbprint scanners. That's very messy, though. Isn't it?
I ain't voting then. What bollocks for that?
I like that idea. I'm sorry, but it'll stop fraud because you've only got one fingerprint.
I think there's a very easy option the government could take on this with. I won't call it an ID card. That's what I'm opposed to. But if the government turned around and said everyone can have the provisional license at voting age, you only pay to uprate that once you've passed your test. That will be your ID card. You've got your picture on it. You have to change it every 10 years to keep it up to date. You can choose to take it with you if you wish. An ID card, you're being told that you have to carry it with you. Well, I was born with nothing. I'm going to die with nothing. And I'll never carry an ID card because my government told me. But if it was a driving license, it's got your picture on it, then I would see that as a very secure way of going to vote. And I wouldn't mind taking my driving license and showing that. But I would strongly oppose to have an ID card forced upon me.
But on the other hand, there are folks that don't drive.
A license to everybody over 18 free. And there's a system there already.
Right.
So you've got the printing system there, you've got the system set up on the computers, and just saying basically anybody who's over 18 can apply for it.
So actually, Carl, that actually is an amalgamation of the, what is it, DVLA now or DVLC? I can't remember, blimey. At the car lot with an ID, a national ID scheme, really. That is a cross of the two.
It's basically is anyway.
Because a driving license is effectively an ID anyway, is it not? I mean, it is. I mean, it's as much as you need, really. No?
Do a standard photograph, or you can walk into a post office and get a digital photograph what gets sent to the DVLA, which also have the same database as your passports.
Yeah.
So if I had a passport and it was a digital print of my face, you can find me anywhere. I can then apply for my driving license. I don't have to get a photograph taken because they take it from the same database. So if you're going to have a national ID, want to carry around being told to have this, but if it was a driving license, which if you want to drive, you're obliged to have, well, even people would accept a provisional driving license and it'll have the photograph and their address on who they are. That's all they need. Fingerprints or anything else. I think that'd be a secure way of doing it.
I'll tell you what, I got to say, while I'm here, when I go to the Not So Independent, I always check out the comments under the articles just to see what the snowflakes are saying and have a bit of a laugh. And it is so classic. Is that so? With the amount of pre-ballot information supplied to voters about the required proof of ID, anyone complaining about not being allowed to vote should be blaming themselves. And then Longer Shot says, Tory shill again! So did you have to buy a Oh, yeah, they're funny. Oh, yeah, they're funny. Read the reality. Snowflakes. Blimey, look at that comment. Nobody's ever going to read that, mate. Right, good. So that's that. Yeah, I don't know. James, what were you saying? Oh, we've got Lynn Scott popped in too. Lynn, what would you like to say, my dear? Oh.
I just wanted to... can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Sounding very good.
Okay. I just heard you say something about the students double voting.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. We were talking about IDs, actually. Have you voted today?
Yeah, the IDs. No, we have no election here, but I'm not registered to vote anyway.
Right.
Um,
Right. Okay. Do you think that there should be IDs for voting? I was using the student thing as the main reason, really. The
Yeah, well,
double
that
voting
wouldn't stop
concern.
it, would it? Because the students were registered at 2 addresses.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
All it means is that they have to show their ID when they actually get to the polling station on the day to prove they are that person that has already been previously registered.
Is it not possible,
So
though,
having an ID card wouldn't stop them registering in 2 places.
Would it be so difficult then? You would have thought it shouldn't be so difficult these days. We got computers and stuff to have a connection between the local constituency electoral roll check and the national check, and it should just be automatic. Any cross reference there. Everybody's got a national insurance number, for example.
Of course, yeah, but as I say, I don't really think ID cards would actually stop the students doing what they did on the last occasion, which was double voting. I don't.
You really think not? Yeah. On its own, it wouldn't, but it depends on the infrastructure behind the system as well, no?
Yeah, but all they did was they applied to vote in the area they were at uni, and then they reapplied in the area to vote at home. Surely there would have been a cross-reference then. The ID card isn't stopping you registering, it's stopping you voting on the day.
And I'm sure that these people will have been found out in some way, shape or form and will not have been punished for double voting.
Exactly.
Voting fraud, one of the worst.
It's a very serious offence. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, there was something in the paper about. First of all, there was the Electoral Commission were investigating it, and then it went quiet, and then we heard just a few months ago or a couple of months ago or something, there was a bloke that was suspected of it, and then he'd been let off, I think, and that's about all we've heard. But it was a big story at the time, and it was big enough that the Electoral Commission did say that they were looking into it. So it must have been, there was, is there any smoke without fire? I don't know. What happened in Canterbury was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Some of those results were pretty incredible in that last general election, I've got to say. And it's important because a lot of those seats, Lynn, at least a dozen, I would say nearly 20, the margin between Tory and Labour was about 1,000 or less than 1,000. Anna Soubry, for example, got about 370 votes or 357 votes, a majority or something. And there was a rack of MPs on both sides, similarly, but especially Labour. A lot of seats that possibly double voting could have affected. I don't know. But very, very interesting. Very curious, I would say.
Well, how many of these double votes were aimed in Labour's favour because of Corbyn's lies?
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah, student fees.
Fees. Yeah.
And what was the other one? Well, he said they'd honour the referendum, and apparently they're not going to do that.
No, they were going to cut student debt, weren't they?
They're going to wipe it out. Pay all the loans back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Pre-election promises don't have to be kept.
Do you think that they
should change it and make it?
Well, they won't, will they, Carl? Because it's in their interest. They won't change something that they put in to benefit them.
Hold on a sec, Carl. What were you? Sorry, I spoke over you. What were you trying to say? Explain that again. Sounded like you were onto something there. You're saying that they should be held to account for their manifesto pledges.
When they make a pre-election promise in the manifesto, they're not legally accountable to it.
No.
Because they can promise the earth, you can have all this, but they're not legally responsible for it. It's like a free right to lie.
The only comeback we have is a vote of no confidence in the House. But the problem is that all three parties lie.
They're allowed to speak what they want and not be prosecuted for it as well, aren't they? So it's when they're in the House debating stuff, they can say what they like, knowing that they're exempt from the law if there was walking down the street saying the same thing. But to make a promise, and especially when you've got gullible young new voters who actually believe in certain people promising the earth, and even the grandparents thinking they'll change their point of view to vote for somebody who's promised to get away charges, and they'll be thinking, well, I'll probably normally a Conservative, but I'll vote Labour because that will help my grandchildren. You know, it's completely wrong. It's false. It's fabrication. It should be prosecuted.
We need
You
to
see
hang
them all
the lot of
squirm
them,
and run off
Carl.
them.
That's what we need to do.
You'd be thinking twice about going on the bankroll money for the pension schemes and everything else through being a politician, wouldn't they? Really, the heart should be in it and shouldn't be lying to the constituents what gave them the power in the first place.
Okay, let's take a few comments. We've got William Davis. We, the UK, are in a democracy, not a communist union state. Thanks, but no thanks. This is on YouTube, folks. Paul Hart says, banks love fraud. Banks are a private company that are insured. And the earth is flat, he points out. Amanda Thompson, good idea. Or you could
Absolutely,
have...
I agree with that. Banks are a private corporation. Just like Theresa May and little buddies are a private corporation trading on Dun and Bradstreet.
Yeah, James, just a sec, mate. Let me just stab woodcutter. There is no such thing as ID. Even your birth certificate says not to be used for identification on it. So is my deposit account, William Davis, and your national insurance number is your liability insurance, as we are employees of the government. And if you're out of work, you go to the job centre and beg for your own money, your stock, says John Middleton. And Dave Witch has popped in on Facebook. Hey, Dave. Thomas White. Yes, there is 3 boys killed, and the driver being a Muslim. They say he was over the drink driver's limit, and Muslim don't drink, do they? Anyone can promise the world when they're not in power, says Thomas White. Michelle Reed. I still have my paper license. I've never changed it to an ID one. Yeah, no, I only changed my pink paper license about a year ago, and my God, it was in such a state. It was in such a state. Okay.
But in Spain, Ollie, you have to carry ID with you everywhere.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Well, actually, yes, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yes.
But the new licenses, you have to renew every 10 years as well, Ollie, or they can fine you up to £1,000.
Really, every 10 years. So it's another tax, isn't it? It's another registration. It's another thing, another rigmarole. Eh?
It's 4 to 5 times before you get to 70, won't you? And you can only see that price going up and up, can't you?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. It's like car tax. Okay, let's change tack. An interesting story in Groningen. Lidl offers locally grown cannabis to Swiss shoppers. What? Supermarket takes advantage of law change to sell relaxing tobacco alternative. You may have heard about their cut price, stolen, and possibly their surprisingly flavoursome jam, but you probably haven't sampled the latest range offered by the supermarket chain Lidl, locally grown cannabis. 2 products derived from hemp flowers are being offered in Swiss stores as an alternative to rolling tobacco. A 1.5 gram box from plants grown indoors costs 13 quid and 20p. 3 gram bag is actually quite favourably priced at 20 Swiss francs, which is about, 15 quid. But it's made from flowers grown in greenhouses, which is lovely. The packs are on sale alongside cigarettes and cigars at the tills. The cost per cigarette is double that of tobacco roll-ups. Is that a good idea, folks? It's all over now, isn't it? Everyone's getting stoned.
Well, they want to tax it, don't they? It's been far too long on the black market.
What's the difference? Why are we here now when we should have been here 20 years ago, frankly? I mean, you buy a bottle of whiskey and frankly, you do yourself a lot more damage if you drink that than you probably wouldn't drink the whole thing. Why now? Why didn't it happen years and years and years ago? Were we really so backward?
I think the Liberals want to sedate the voters so either they don't vote or they can convince them while they're stoned all the time.
Do you think it sedates the voter?
And we've had certain political parties promising on that they can make it legal or look into making it legal, and you're thinking, why are the Lib Dems doing that? No, you've got to ask yourself a question, haven't you?
Look, hold on a sec. No, Carl. You can get stoned. Quite frankly, I have to say, I know this. You can get stoned and still question the political process. No?
Yeah, yes, you
Not
can.
not everybody is like that with it, are they? Some people are proactive if they are taking it for recreational or medicinal purposes. Some people can't function on it properly, can they?
Yeah, maybe.
That's correct.
Maybe.
Strains do affect different people in different ways.
That's
And
true.
it
That's
does
true.
have.
But then, I mean, these people could easily be, drinking alcohol instead. So what's the difference? Or is that not the case?
Well,
I think
is there a
it's
difference?
taxation. I think it is taxation. I think they've seen how America has legalized it and how much
They're
these
making
states
billions in Colorado now. They had about $2 billion in tax revenues, I think, out of marijuana last year. An incredible figure. Yeah.
They're diverting
It's
the money
big.
into the health and different services as well, which relate to what people want to happen as well. But yeah, it's a bit strange. But for the Lib Dems here to try and sway it, even though they knew that they're a gone by team now, aren't they? Really, Lib Dems.
Oh, they're saying that it should be legalized, aren't they? The Lib Dems.
They did do, didn't they? On the coming up towards the elections, and I thought, they know they're going through the back door.
That wouldn't tempt me to vote for them.
But the youngsters would do, wouldn't they?
Yeah, maybe. David, go on. Sorry. Go on, David.
Just about to get at. It was the Lib Dem way to try to win the student vote. Instead of going out with all-out lies like Corbyn did, they went the more placid route of, we'll legalise cannabis because, it's really not that bad. And, yeah, the students will go out and vote for us then.
Oh, my God. Hold on a sec. Do you know what time it is? Oh. Look, you know what? I mean, Dave's got a show to go to. Dave, Wolf.
Yes, I do.
You're supposed to be streaming, man. Gov.ly/Hive, yeah, for Hive Mind now. No? Is that right?
Yep.
Good.
That it is.
Good. Look, I want to say a big cheers to everybody that popped in on Discord. Carl Stephen, David Wolf, James Gore, Lynn Scott, bless you, and we had one or two others, I can't remember. I can never remember who was on. I get very nervous doing this, Got no idea. This has been the Daily Chaos. I'm Olly Connelly. Thanks very much for popping in on both YouTube and on Facebook. God bless you. Yeah. Back tomorrow at 7. 7 is 7 now. It's always 7 now. And a big cheers to Facebook today for not unpublishing the Daily Brexit page, which is hosting this show at the moment, along with the one at YouTube.
Why did they unpublish it?
That's a good question, James. They've done it about 10 times in the last week. Facebook had just unpublished it. So I go to it and it's unpublished. You've got to publish it again. They keep having to do that. They also discounted 66 reviews. They said there were no reviews. Oh, but they've been reinstated today. I'll tell you, Facebook's weird. Facebook.
Facebook is a bunch of fascists.
Yeah. Alt-left fascists. Yeah, and we're streaming on Facebook. And you are all left fascists. Yes, that's right, you are. And we're streaming on YouTube. And I'm looking into Infinity waiting for Infinity SSN, and also looking at D-Live. Thanks to PJ largely. Cheers, PJ. So I need to get on the skates on. So look, hey, see you tomorrow at 7. God bless you. Daily Chaos, yeah? The show ain't daily, but the chaos is. Oh, I've got Helen saying, I'm sorry, but Facebook's playing up and I couldn't get through to the Brexit show today. Oh. It's chaos, Helen, darling. It's chaos. Oh, it's getting there. It's getting all quiet. Oh.
What? Who is that?
Yep, go and vote.